Uh-huh. Right, so it seems that I already did work in the direction of caching compiled shaders, or rather the input to the compiler of the shader. And I can just assume that if the shader index is unique, then it refers to a unique shader that needs compiling. That index is being passed to compile here. I post. Shader indexes indices. Shaders that need compiling pushback. I don't know. These are two different functions. They both run over shaders that need compiling. There's probably a reason why there are different functions, but I think I need to pre-process everything before I can start compiling, but still. Is that really true? Because it confuses the hell out of me. Would be much nicer to have just one function that pre-processes everything. Well, that pre-processes one shader and then builds it as well, instead of splitting it into two functions. The only reason I can think of is that the shader, the mset index int map is not known until all these shaders are preprocessed. But I think I changed that yesterday. Yeah, pretty sure. So I should probably no longer necessary to make a distinction between preprocessing and compiling. Yeah. Okay, that does happen in preprocessed. Okay, so yeah, and then that was also the most difficult problem, as you can read in the description. That I have to apparently preprocess all the shaders before I can generate this set index map. At least that's how it's being done right now, and I cannot compile until I have that map, so that's for the pipeline layout. It's not really related then to compiling, is it? Just for the layout? Yeah, it is. Set index map is passed to the characteristics before we compile. Oh well. It's a real problem is I lost my oversight of what exactly is happening. Okay, so then While building, and I have the shader index. And that should be unique. So if this would ever be called with the same shader index, and then I would be asked to compile the same thing again, which is not good, I think. What exactly does this function do? It does do preprocess 2, which might have side effects. Otherwise, it just compiles, I guess, and creates a new shader model. The problem is that I assert here, because I do call this twice. Although I'm not even looking if this if it should be called. It could be trying to compile something else, and then I would still assert here. But in my case, the current case, it's just trying to compile the exact same thing twice, so that's even worse. And now we assert here. But yeah, I think I need some kind of cache here. I could store it in the application, so just application wide. And it could be returned already here, I guess. Get shader info from the shader index. If I make that non-const, I can update it with the module. Yeah, then there's a race condition in the case that two different tasks try to compile the same shader at the same time. Is that a thing? compile. It's of course possible, but I think it's not very likely. It seems to me that you need a certain characteristic before you even try to compile a certain shader. Say, write some shader, and then then that belongs to a characteristic. And each characteristic is a task. Therefore, I would need to have more than one characteristic that is trying to compile the same shader code, which feels not correct, even though it could happen. So maybe I should just let it happen, as in they would both compile it, and then one of them would be first, and I still have to detect that because it can happen. But the alternative would be that I have to build in the tasks that I wait for the other task to compile a given shader. Not sure how easy that is. I guess I could change this red here, read access type, into something that not uses a mutex but uses a task mutex. And then I would have to lock it before calling this function, just passing that to this function instead, and then I can keep that lock. That would work. Let me think. But yeah, that would mean that I have to be able to return from this function and then re-enter it later without side effects. So I'd say I would have to pass that lock already to this function then. The build shader. Let's see where that is called from. Build shaders. Yeah, it seems to be basically called from build shaders. Now what exactly did I want to lock? I've called that again. Well, build shaders calls build shader. Something in the application, right? Yeah, and then we call get shader info here. So on this thing. I would need to get a lock object on application and shader infos. But not really on the shader infos, is it? Not really. Really on just one of the elements of this DQ. Yeah, it's more like I need to add a task mutex for each element of this DQ and then return a write locked write access type for the element. This is pretty upfront. It's really at the front of this function. So I still think I can pass it to this function. But this is in a loop. I don't want to do all the logging outside the loop and then keep those logs while calling build shader for different shaders. That takes a very long time. So instead I would have to take a single log just before build shader here, which then might fail, which means that I have to leave this function in the middle of the loop. And then therefore build in a wait here to return from this function and then re-enter at the same point. Which means that later we would re-enter build shaders, which then should act as if it re-enters this loop at the point where it left. Yeah, it's very doable, but yeah, you know, the question is it ever going to be used, that code? Because I would, like I said, I would need two characteristics that try to build the same shader at the same time. So very likely it is not, and therefore it will in general also not give a speed up. I think probably would take me half an hour to write this. And the other option would be that just let it compile and then throw away all the work at the end when I see that some other thread already did it. I think I'm gonna go with the first option because it's cleaner. Let me try it. So yeah, then what I need is a log per we need a log per application get shader info per DQ instance here element, which means that this thing, I think, yeah. So it cannot no longer be shader infos, but it should be a an AI thread safe thing. Yeah, easy is different. It is clean though. Electronics, hello, Samuel, hello. Sign up, hello. And LGL, hello. And the Java, hello. So what I'm going to do now is wrap the elements of a DQ, that is element of my application object, in a AI thread safe construct that is going to use and task mutex to protect the elements, so that I can log out other tasks while working on that element. And task mutex are way better than normal mutexes, so they will not cost me any CPU then. Things will just get ordered in the right order. And there's only one thread will compile the shader, and the other thread will be woken up at the cost of maybe 50 microsecond system call, or more likely a thread that was already running anyway. We'll pick up the task from log-free ring loop, what was it called? A log-free ring buffer with tasks, you know, from the thread pool. In other words, cheap. I'm using Arch Java or something. Yeah, that means that this must be changed into something else, and I'm gonna call that I'm always using a using for any AI thread safe wrapper. But its downside is that it needs a name. Anyway, so it's going to be it's going to have some name. I don't know what yet. And then it's going to store shader info object. And we're going to use I think a task mutex is primitive. Check to task mutex. Oh, it's not a thing. What is the task mutex called then? It is called an AI stateful task mutex. Yeah, this has a stateful task mutex, so the M here has a lock and it has a unlock, but that's not really the same as a mutex, is it? Because this lock needs to be passed this pointer and then condition type. That is used to wake up the task again. I guess I need to write a wrapper for that and as well. Kind of amazed or surprised, I would say, that I don't have that already, because well, it seems like a logical thing to have. Let's call the thing task locked shader info. It's a type, I don't know. Hey, bear. So basically this is our wish, and then compile errors will teach us the rest. And the wish is that this can only be accessed, well, before it was a shader info, and it still is, but now wrapped. And our wish is that that shader info object can only be accessed by one task at a time. So I wrapped it with as mutex and task mutex. And then all hell will break loose, because this is not going to compile, of course. And I think that one of the main or first problems, I should say, is that the whole task mutex doesn't even have a signature that is needed for primitive. Let me have a look at primitive. I think primitive is just calling. It is using rather access, and access is doing nothing special except controlling access. It's using const access, which is calling lock and unlock. So we have these two member functions must exist, otherwise it's not going to work. Now unlock it does, but we don't have a lock. So we need to write a wrapper, so our type has a lock. And I almost think I should make that more general, so I can reuse it later on again. But that wrapped object then has state. I mean, I can replace this by another type. I mean, it's just a type, right? So replace this by a type that has a simple lock method without arguments. And then, yeah, it's a type that needs to have state. How can I pass that state? It's going to have a non-default constructor then. Going to. So I'm not sure if that even possible really. What is being done with this type? If I pass it to primitive capital mutex, it's just default constructed. Well, maybe it's not possible, or I have to add it that I want a mutex with a state. What to do here? I could constructor, the default constructor here, and then set the state afterwards, but then I need to know where my primitive ends up. Well, primitive, it's just a second argument to wrapper. Which is policy mutex. Oh, sorry, policy mutex, there it is. Yeah, it's a base class of the wrapper, public and all. However, that thing is protected, so it needs to have to derive from primitive in order to access it afterwards, after default construction. Starts to look like hacking. Hacking as in doing things that are not intended. It's not very clean. But okay, theoretically you can make a new type that is derived from primitive and then gives access to our mutex, so I can initialize it afterwards, or hell, I could even pass then to the constructor of our new primitive, or primitive derived class. However, that is a base class of the wrapper. So also that one does not have a default constructor. So nothing else but a default constructor, I mean. Wrapper. Yeah, well, policy mutex is just the default constructor. Nothing we can do about that, can we? No. Well, not unless I would change this code, but I don't want to. Not yet, anyway. Okay, no, and then is it possible to call a function on wrapper after creating it? Because that is an element into this DQ. So then I would have to call a function on the DQ at the moment I add it. And what exactly did we have to pass to it? Wait, what is that? Unlocked AI stateful. Oh yeah, right. See, the correct usage is that you call lock. That's described here, and try to obtain ownership for owner because of locking allowed. Who is owner? Turns a handle pointer upon success and null pointer upon failure to obtain ownership. The returned handle must be passed. The returned handle must be passed to is self-locked. It's a pretty vague description. Also doesn't describe at all what to do with that. the bad description. There's maybe more documentation up here. And this is how you should use it. So you have a task that has a state, wait for lock, sets the state to locked, and then it calls lock on the mutex with some condition, and if that returns 0, then it does wait in that same condition. Otherwise, we can immediately fall through to locked. And you have to create an adopt lock from M. And I guess when that goes out of scope, it will unlock it. Or you can unlock it before you go out of scope. Okay, I'm reached a decision here. We cannot use AI thread safe because AI thread safe is scope locked. So you create an object and then it's locked while inside that scope. And what we clearly need is something that is leaving the scope while, I don't know, it's just not suitable, I think. So we have to literally do this instead and then not use AI thread safe, which is sad because that is it's called thread safe because it doesn't allow you to make any mistakes. So I can just, if I add this, it's just not going to compile until it works, like literally. Very, very thread safe, so you cannot make mistakes. But I don't think we can do that, so unfortunately I'll have to leave it like this. And then we have to use an external lock without a scope. Well, we need a mutex. We need a mutex for each element. So I guess I have to add it to CharacteristicRange itself, maybe. Yes, let's add it to this object. Hello, A4. I'm feeling okay. You mean my voice is different? Maybe really, really minor something in my throat, yeah. Nothing serious. I didn't notice it until you mentioned it. I probably have COVID or something like that. So not serious at all. No, I wouldn't know. Not enough sleep, I think. I was going to add two things. The AI stateful task mutex and Are you you are going to keep me in the background, A4? It is almost dinner time here, right? So I'm gonna take a break. I should take a break, like not too much time, because I'll just should cook again. And if it was up to me, I would just keep streaming the whole day, even if I'm not coding. Well, I don't know. YouTube probably wouldn't like that. If it was different, if it wasn't YouTube, it was just, you know, us, then you know, we could do that, I guess. Feels kind of the way I used, or some people at least use Second Life when that was my social life. We would just be logged in. Your avatars, if you went eating, then you put your avatar at a table or whatever, playing an eating animation, and then you would go eating. So your avatar would be doing what you were doing in real life, even though you're AFK at the moment. And that pretty, yeah, that gives a family feeling, you know. That's everyone that's living there. It's nice. Hello, Jan Buron or Jan Buren or whatever part of the world you're from. Jean Buron. Okay, so in the end, this can be converted to a shader model handle. Maybe I should not add it to this, or I don't think I should add it here. I should make something in that runs in parallel with it and not pollute the CharacteristicRange itself. Yeah, let's that thing then should be stored here. Let me just add it here for now, I think. So I have a shader info. No, I have a new thing, shader info plus plus something, which we derive from shader info. Why not? Yeah, and then plus something, plus God, things don't have a name. It's just what it is. Stateful task mutex. I'll call it task mutex. And then we have also the resulting something. I don't know, what is it? Say VK probably. Unique sounds like. Sounds nice. And then what? Unique share module. Hey, it becomes green. So then this, apparently I need to indent this for the right alignment. not A, the shader module that corresponds to a shader index. So this should be stored in something that takes the shader index as index, aka that one. It's a bit cheap description, but maybe I'll improve it later on. I'm gonna call it cache. Well, basically this is the cached value then. And what's in the name? So now we're gonna store cache. Right, so what did we do? We still have shader info because cache is derived from shader info. But now for each element we added a mutex and a possible shader module, which is just the handle, the handle to the compiled whatever the shader compiled into. And I think this will just compile because, yeah, it's not thread safe. It will just compile even though you're not doing anything with these things yet, unfortunately. Now why is that? Well, this thing is derived from that. So it is shader info and it will not be the wiser. Let me try to compile this. Hello, I'll call you Anek. Anek now gamer. And something was going wrong because was wrong. You cannot push it back. We would be pushing back the mutex, and it doesn't like that. Or something else. No, it's not that serious. It's just trying to move shader info into shader info cache. And where's my code? This is my code. That is probably it, I guess. VI. No matching function for call to utils DQ Vulkan shader builder shader info cache comma blah 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 push back. Remove reference shader builder info. Okay. Trying to push back a okay, yeah. Let's see what this function exactly is doing. Register shaders. So we are passing a bunch of shader info objects. I see no reason whatsoever to pass shader info cache objects. So, okay, we are passing shader info objects. And now we calculate the hash of those. And then I guess we assign a new index on the hash is new. And then all the new ones are pushed into mshader infos. Which then take the right log here and then we add to the DQ. But the DQ now contains shader info cache objects. But note that it is right logged. So this is just a fresh new shader info cache object. So it should have a fresh new unlocked mutex, default constructed that would be unlocked. And also a default constructed shader module handle or whatever, the unique shader module. So instead of doing a pushback, we just do in place back, which then will construct it. Yeah, do I need a standard move here? Do I need a move in the first place? New shader, what is, so I'm trying to move shader info objects. No, might as well, contains 2 strings. It's minute, more efficient to move a string than to copy it. Compile options. Compile options contains a complete map. Okay, also cheaper. There are two kinds of people in the world. Logical peoples who think for themselves and use reasoning and real science. So it's sad that I have to use the word real in front of science these days. And then there are the emotional people who just drive on pure feelings and think that the best thing is what is most repeated without any qualifications, like people saying Rust is awesome. And not just once, but they come back here like every day and they say that. Repeat, 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 repeat. Well, if as a result any of my viewers is going to use Rust instead of C++, because some idiot comes repeat that line every day, be my guest and leave. Oh, he said it 50 times, and that must be true. Next time you say it, Demi Dolph, I'll ban you from the channel because I'm getting sick of it, as you can hear. It's also flooding when you spread 50 times over 50 different days. Post Bunny is right. Hey, Post Bunny! How are the dishes? Oh, you never do the dishes, if you ask me. You just put it in the dishwasher. But still, it's a lot of work in your case. Oh yeah, I'm distracted. Undo, no, nothing. What am I looking at here? Share info. It's going to move it, yeah. Move it. So, my computer says that I have to go eat. Okay, moving therefore a shader info to whatever is in this DQ, which means that we're trying now to construct a shader info cache from. I thought I turned that off. Sorry guys, intermezzo. Todd config and vim. I think it's new vim or end vim. I always forget that. init.vim. What the hell? init.vim. So what did I type then? .config /nvim/init.vim. Oh, I did cd instead of vi. That's yes, it's not here. That is not here. Or maybe I added to the bottom. No, I didn't. Again, I have not added that. And I will never be able to remember that. Set. I don't even know what the thing was here. No. Definitely did not have that anymore. Anyone, any viewers here with a perfect memory? I think it was something with format options or something like that. And then I had RBL something help format options. Maybe it's a thing. Default TCQJ doesn't even look like what I wanted. Is it format options or not? Maybe it's not format options. I could ask ChatGTP. I'll give ChatGPT another chance. Where is it? I closed it. It was a wise decision probably, but seriously, no ChatGPT anymore. Okay, let's Google it. mvin option to control comment indentation. That was one of the things anyway. Nope. Okay, yes, I have to ask the monster because at least it understands you. Got to say that. Well, I'm gonna give it a chance again. So I was open AI, and then well, oh, I'm being checked. What is the nvim option that controls things like starting a new line with when pressing O on a line with the comments. In a C++ source file. I think the name had the word format in it. Crash. Ah. Yes, it is format options. Okay, I just did not recognize the help though. What I can do is just to set format options and then see that it is currently this. JCRLB something. And I want to get rid of the C. Okay. Let me get really lazy here. Please tell me what each character does with an example. I feel so evil abusing the monster. It's an example. And I use bleep. Oh yeah. No, Carlo. You can figure that out yourself. Just read the help file. Bear agrees with me. This is just mean. But hey, automatically insert comments when starting a new line. For example, if you start a new line below a line started with a new line with starting R automatically inserts a comment leader when starting a new line and entering insert mode from normal mode. I don't think so. That cannot be right. I mean, it would never just start a comment. Oh, automatically inserts a blank line above the current line when starting a new line in insert mode from normal mode. Yeah, it always does that. It's starting to smell like nonsense again. Q inserts. They ask for Q. Yeah. Q inserts a comment leader, e.g. the start of a new line, and aligns it with the comment on the previous line. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's probably the C. Let's try that one. Oops. And then I was here, Alt Tab. We were here, and I write that away, and then it wants me to write that as well. And then we open the file again, and I guess I was jumping to DQ, and then we go here, and I do O, and it still does it. What the hell? Set format options. There's still a C in it. Can anyone explain to me why there is still a C in it? I don't think I made a mistake there. No, it must understand what I said. No, not bad. I'm sitting in the dark again. Yeah, it's just dot text, so I can hardly believe. I'm trying to change my format options, but it seems to be ignored. It seems to be ignored. Most likely it would be overridden maybe because I'm editing. No, not really. If I even add some random file, set format of format options. Yeah, the C is gone now. So, and now it's a C. So it added it because it's a CPP file. Okay. Seems it added the C because it is a C++ file. File name Menzel.cpp. But I can't find where it is. It is set. Being on Arch Linux, where could the file be that adds this C to my format options? There it is. Yeah, I don't want to change this file, so I can override this. Could try to use set local as well, I guess. Maybe. I mean, if I set it in my own file, it should override it, right? Or should I have to set it in the FT plugin instead of my init.vim? Let me try this in the... Now, I already tried... I mean, I'm completely setting it here, so that's definitely not going to help, but let's try it anyway. And still got a C in it. However, we could try to put it in a local set of file. No. Or I can try this line. Let's try that line. Thought I had something like that before, and it was called out to command. There it is. Out to command, no remap, blah blah blah. Well, yes, that is gone. Well, ChatGPT had a good day. It actually helped. Nobody knows what file I was in. Oh wait, this file. Yeah, I jumped to DQ and then what I want to do is press an O here. And it's still doing it. And there is no C. So it wasn't C. God, what? Maybe we should first find out which option is doing this. I got rid of it. Yay. Okay. Now then, which option is it? Maybe the O. It's probably the O. In fact, I'm so sure it is the O now that I'm just going to... Oops. I closed that window. Okay. And I'm still sitting in the dark. .config /nvim /init.vim. -o. That's probably better. No, not that one. Rather on that one. Now it's just to jump to this file. Oh, now it works. Phew. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna eat because I have to eat. Might as well do it now. So I'll be back later, peoples.